The Abominable Snowman from 1957 is Peter Cushing's first Hammer film. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of a 1950s moviegoer and see how this film is. The movie opens in a lamasery in the Himalayas. Dr. Rollison, played by Cushing, and his team are there to study the local plant life. He is informed that another group are coming to find a creature in the mountains. The doctor's interested in this, and being an experienced climber himself, decides to join their expedition, much to his wife Helen's disapproval. The other group shows up and we meet him. There's Tom Friend, the leader, Ed, a trapper, McNee, a photographer, and their guide, Kusing. Friend has some compelling evidence, a cylinder that was stolen from the llamas years ago. Inside the cylinder is a Yeti tooth. The next morning, the small team heads off in search of the beast. Get ready for lots of walking in the snow. It's not quite as bad as the snow creature, but still a lot of wandering around. Speaking of snow creature, that's what this movie was originally going to be titled, but the 1954 film beat them to the punch. By the end of the first day, they make it to a small hut, where they're able to warm up, get some food, and rest. The doctor has a theory. He believes that there was a time when apes split into man, but perhaps they split into something else too. It's around this time the doctor learns the true intentions of Friend. He wants to capture the beast alive, to make money, but to also show humanity that the beast exists. McNee gets his foot stuck in one of Ed's traps. He frees him and informs the group that they've actually managed to catch a Yeti. Once Dr. Rollison sees it, he confirms it's just a monkey, but Friend doesn't care. He says that's good enough and that he will convince them it's a Yeti. The doctor knows Friend is a fake and calls him out. They get into a fight and they break the radio. Their fight is interrupted by a loud noise outside. Something tore apart the cage to release the monkey. Something big, and they have footprints to prove it. A hairy hand reaches into the tent, but is scared away. That's all the guide needs to see before he quits. Kusang runs all the way down the mountain back to the lamasery. Helen sees that he's returned, and she knows something is up with her husband. So she gathers up her own search party and heads out looking for him. Back on top of the mountain, the men manage to shoot the creature. They follow a blood trail and find it dead. No time to celebrate though, because they hear more in the distance. McNee, still injured from that bear trap, hears the beast outside and goes running after it. It seems like he's a bit delirious because he goes out there without his shoe or his gloves on. The other men find him, but he falls to his death. Friend blames the creature. The doctor blames his bad foot. In a cave, they come up with a plan. Ed creates a trap using a net, and he'll be the bait. It's not long until the Yetis fall for it. The doctor and Friend run to help, but they're too late. The monster was able to escape the net, and Ed, well, he died, but of a heart attack, not a Yeti. And that's kind of the point. The snowman hasn't killed anyone. McNee fell to his death, and Ed had a heart attack. The doctor thinks this is because the creatures are the good guys, and the humans are the bad guys. What if the Yetis are just waiting for man, the savages, to die out, so that they can take over the earth? The doctor hears a weather report on the radio, but remember, it was broken in their fight. Thinking the altitude must be affecting him, he sits down and breathes in some oxygen. Around this time, Friend hears someone yelling out for help. He thinks it's Ed, and that he's alive and needs help, but again, it's the altitude. He goes outside yelling and firing his gun like a madman and causes an avalanche, killing him. Now the doctor is all alone, and the Yetis are in the cave with him. We really get to see these things, and, well, it's what you would expect for the 50s. The doctor can't handle seeing them, and he faints. Helen's team is still searching for him, and she finds her husband. He looks pretty frightened, but alive. At the lamasery, they meet with the llama, and Dr. Rollison says that what he was looking for simply does not exist. And the llama says there is no Yeti. But they both know better.
There is no Yeti.
And that was The Abominable Snowman. I've said it before, but the 50s really was a good time for Yeti movies. Everyone thought that maybe, just maybe, this monster was real, and any day someone was going to catch it. Peter Cushing is great as the Doctor, and the supporting actors do a fine job. The monster looks like your typical Twilight Zone makeup effects, but I wasn't expecting much. One thing I feel this movie doesn't convey is the cold. You can tell most of the time they're on a set, and the rest is just stock footage. It also sticks to the typical Yeti formula. Nothing special happens. At least in the Snow Creature, they brought the beast back to the city. Here, you can predict what's going to happen. Give it a watch if you're bored and you really want to see some of Cushing's early work. I give The Abominable Snowman 2.5 Yeti tooths out of 4.
Friend talks too much, agreed, and Shelley could use a few manners. All right, I snore. They'll be the ones to suffer.